Hello guys, I am Shreya Jain and I am a legal intern at Lexis and Company. I am pursuing BLLB honors from Law College Dehradun, Uttaranchal University, currently in 7th semester, and I am glad to have this opportunity of interning with Lexis and Company and presenting to you with this video. So the purpose of this video is to make you guys aware of one of the maxims of equity, that is delay defeats equity. So this will be the topic for today, that is delay defeats equity. I'll be explaining what is this maxim's meaning, how the different cases regarding to it, and the exceptions and the conditions where this maxim is applicable, and at last I'll conclude this topic. So let's begin. So this maxim has also been expressed in another form, that is, we say equity aids the vigilant and not the indolent. That is, this maxim means that in comparison to a legal claim which is not barred by any lapse of time shorter than the prescribed time by the statute of limitation, the equitable claim is sometimes barred by the uh, unreasonable delay on the part of the plaintiff in seeking relief. That is, he we can also say that he who sleeps upon his rights will slip from him. The court of equity discourages the laches, that is unreasonable delay in filing a suit to claim the right, holding that it would be unjust to allow a claim to be assessed after any undue lapse of time. So the court of equity, irrespective of the statute of limitation, refuses to give relief when the party seeking the relief has delayed for a long time without attempting to enforce his or her right. That is, the plaintiff seeking the equitable remedy has to explain even a shorter period of delay. That is, if you want to claim an equitable right, you have to come within a reasonable time to claim that right. If that reasonable time is lapsed and then you say that we want to have this right back to us, this solely equitable right which we wants to claim, it will not be given to you if you come to the court after the reasonable time has lapsed. So we have this case where Lord Camden said, the name of the case is Smith versus Clay. He said that the court of equity has always refused its aid to stale demands where a party has slept upon his rights and acquiesced for a court and acquiesced for that a court plays an active role when there is good conscience, good faith, and reasonable diligence. Otherwise, the court is passive and does nothing. So, reasonable diligence can be made established by no reasonable rule, that is, it must be determined upon the circumstances of each case. What may be inexcusable delay in one case will not be inconsistent with diligence in another. So it will be fatal to it was lapse of time will be a defense to legal claim only when the remedy has been barred by a statute of limitation, while the equitable claims on the other hand may be barred not only by a statute of limitation but also by unreasonable delay of the plaintiff in seeking equitable relief. So such an unreasonable delay is technically called lashes. Thus I'd like to share an example with you. where a purchaser seeks to set aside or rescind a contract, he must apply for relief with reasonable diligence, and where owing to delay on his part other parties have acquired rights or the property has been deteriorated in value or change in condition, the court will not grant the relief and it will rescind the claim. So the next are the three conditions where the delay will fail to claim the claim for equitable relief. The three conditions where delay will fail to claim for equitable reliefs are, there are three conditions. The first is when it has resulted in the destruction of the property or anything, or the loss of evidence by which the claim might have been rebutted. Second, when there is evidence of an agreement by the plaintiff to abandon a release of his right. And third is if the plaintiff has so acted as to induce the defendant to alter his position on the reasonable faith that he has released or abandoned his claims. But apart from such circumstances, delay will be immaterial. So hence we can say that though this maxim is not applicable to cases covered by the statutes of limitations, however, delay will be fatal to claim for equitable relief if it may have resulted in the destruction or loss of evidence by which the claim might have been rebutted. So next up here are the some of the exceptions of this maxim. So the main exceptions of this maxim is that it will not apply to any legal or equitable claims which the statute of limitations apply expressly or by analogy. So in such cases, delay so far as it is within the statutory period will not defeat a claim. So there are also some excuses for delay which are acceptable by a court. That is, our right will not be abandoned if we give excuses such as lack of full knowledge, legal capacity, or free will, or ignorance, or disability, or undue influence. These will be satisfactory excuses for delay. And at last, I'll be concluding this topic by explaining the application of this maxim in India. So this maxim has a general application in India but has a limited scope when there is a long lapse of time in challenging the defendant's title. The presumption of the court will be that the defendant's title is of lawful origin. Thus, such a lash or reasonable delay may become a ground for refusal. The Indian Limitation Act has made provision for all the possible cases, and the cases which are not specifically provided in this act are governed by the residuary article 120. The Indian Limitation Act also provides under section 113 3 years as the period within which to file a suit for specific performance of a contract. Hence, mere delay in filing a suit will not be sufficient to defeat the plaintiff's suit for specific performance. But if delay is because of waiver, abandon, or acquiescence, and it alters the position of the defendant, it will disentitle the plaintiff to a decree for specific performance or any other equitable relief which he wants to seek from the court. However, if there is no such limitation for an act expressly provided in the Limitation Act, the Court of Equity will decide the remedy in law which will be based on the objectives of the act. So if there is a, so yeah, that's the conclusion, that if there is no such thing provided there, the court of equity will decide the case based on the objectives of the act and the present circumstances. So thank you guys, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Do comment and give feedbacks, and like, share and subscribe to this video. Thank you.